Hey, it's Jason Baker with Rise Real Estate. Happy Friday. It's casual Friday here at the Jason Baker team, but we are up and at 'em. Just got off our partner call, and I wanted to share with you the economic update that they just went over with us. Now, our company is powered by Rise Real Estate. The Jason Baker team is powered by Place, which is a service as a software platform that brings everything home all into one place. Place is valuation is over $1 billion, and they were just invested in by Goldman Sachs to the tune of $100 million Series A funding round. So the economic data that we get is coming from both Place and from Goldman Sachs analysts, and I wanted to share this with you because it's super important. I'm going to go into these slides, and then I'm going to put each slide into layman's terms because obviously, that's how my brain thinks. I like to simplify these things and tell you what it means because looking at graphs is super boring. But for my analytical friends, let's look at some graphs together. Okay, so this is existing home sales. In January of 2022, we were on track to do 6.5 million, and that ended up being true, units across the entire country as far as sales. So 6.5 homes sold. Now there was land and commercial and multifamily and all that, but we're just talking, the baseline is always homes, okay? We are pacing now that we're this far into January for 2.1 million less sales nationwide. And realistically, and we'll talk a lot today about affordability. Okay, so again, this is we're tracking for 4.4 or 2.1 million sales. When the interest rates went up as high as they did and as fast as they did, basically overnight, right? They went from just over 3% to up over 7%, boom, snap of a finger. Someone who was purchasing an $800,000 home the next day could only qualify for a $500,000 home. And that was shocking to their system. And so there was a major pause. And those people their expectations were on that $800,000 home, if that makes sense. And now they're looking at something that's 500 or that's, so far inferior. And of course, overnight, sellers aren't going to go from, being told by their real estate agent that their house is worth 800,000 and now really that same, the people that were looking at it yesterday can now only afford a $500,000 house. Will you come down to 500? Well, they're going to look at you like you have 5 heads. I would do the same thing because it takes a while for people to get used to this. So if there's any real estate agents that are watching this, please be very careful not to price. Now we have to look that this was January of 2022, and since last January, we've been on a steady decline. So this didn't just start in 2023. This really started in January of 2022. Okay, next slide. We're going to look at the pending home sales index versus the existing home sales. I understand my computer's cutting off the top of this. I apologize, but what can I say? So the pending home sales the existing home sales is the lighter blue. So this line here, okay, where it's still showing that 4.5 to 4.6. That's the existing home sales, like what we've got going on right now. So that's trending to basically where the other data was looking at the 4.4 to 4.5. This one I think is around 4.6 or 4.7. So if you take this graph and this one part of this graph and the last graph, it shows that we should be around 4.5 million for homes sold. Well, here's the scary thing. The pending home sales index, or things that are currently pending, is forecasting somewhere around 3.7. So all this is to say, they believe that, or based on the data that we're given today, okay, now if rates went down to 4, could that change? Of course it could, but today, right, and this is as of the first couple weeks of January, we could effectively cut the amount of homes that are sold based on this data, okay, which is the most current data because they're pending now. I mean, we could cut up to 3 million homes, off of what was sold. So this is a major turnaround. And what sellers need to realize right now is that because we've lost half the buyers, in the market due to affordability. And so that pie in the sky hope or dipping their toe in to see if they could get this, it can't, because home prices are going to come down. Now there is some light at the end of the tunnel, and we're going to start looking at some of this. Now the housing activity tracker is still showing what we can see here is that it's not quite as there's more activity than certain times during 2020 towards the end of the year. Kind of had a little dip and then it went crazy again. But what I want to show here more than what we were looking at in 2020 was look back here at the last bust cycle. Okay, look how far down that is. That's like negative 35, 34, negative 36. We're not there. We're right here. So this is not 2008, 9, 10, 11, 12. It is not, and even in that big foreclosure thing that we had, like a lot of people said, well, we're going to wait for the housing prices to go down to what they were in 2008, 2009. Well, we're not, it's not, we're starting to see a little bit of leveling here. We've kind of gone, through it. It may go down a little bit from there, but nobody expect that we're going to see anything. And the reason is this isn't a fraud-driven market like it was before, subprime loan-driven market. This is just simply a rate increase and affordability, okay? I believe in another couple years that the rates will come down. I do not believe that they will for that long. But again, the good news here is this is not the subprime mortgage crisis right here, okay, that we had a global financial meltdown. The meltdown may happen, but it's not being caused due to fraud. It's being caused due to interest rates. And so, tomorrow they could make a decision to go ahead and lower those things if they really wanted to, right? If it really needed to happen, okay? So again, the cause of this is just a rise in increasing rate, inflation, everything like that, a rise in rates, and it is not 2009. It's important that you understand that. Here is, though, something that is slightly alarming, is the home purchase sentiment. The buyer sentiment now, okay, here it was fear because of rapidly decreasing prices and fraud and global meltdown. It got down to just under 60 there, probably 58, 59. And now, we're at, 63. So we're super close to the buyer sentiment. We're still above the bust there in the foreclosure crisis there, the fraud crisis, right? Seen all the movies they've made about that. This one here is, we're down there, but it's just because my payment's twice as much on the same house today, right? So that's really where we're going to stop. We can look at affordability. See, the difference between 2009 and 2008 was things were actually more affordable back then. And again, it just has to do with what the rates were and so even though the rates were maybe similar to what they are today then, the house prices were much less, right? So now the house prices went way up and then the rates went way up, and so the housing affordability is low. So again, for sellers, this is going to progressively, in my opinion, get worse over the next 2 years. For buyers, you're going to have to make sure that you want to be in the house for at least the next 2 years until this levels. Additionally, work with sellers who are willing to work with you on the price or help you with a rate buy down. So, some solutions are a rate buy down where they can buy their rate down into the 4.5% area from where they currently are right now. Rates did dip down into just over 6% this week, which was great. And so it's the buyers are hoping that the home prices go down more, and they will. And so the fact of the matter is that sellers who are being stubborn up here are going to go through a down cycle. If they don't sell today, which they most certainly can, we're selling houses, we're putting 2 or 3 or 4 under contract every single week, which is great personally. on our team. We're doing it's incredible how we are not experiencing, because we work like dogs, a real slowdown. But and there's a lot of us here working for our clients and trying to cross sell our listings. But the fact of the matter is that it's foolish for a seller to think that that this is just a month or two thing. This is global, and that this is just going to be over in a month or two, or just because spring or something like this. Look, in spring, why it's going to get worse for a seller is we're probably going to double our inventory like we do every year. Okay, in my opinion. So if there's 200 homes for sale right now and it goes up to 400 homes for sale, do you think really that you're going to make more money? The answer is no, regardless of whether they can see your green grass. Okay, that's one of the biggest myths in the world, is wait until spring or summer. Now I understand you don't want to move in the snow, but if you put your house on the market right now, you're not moving in the snow, because average days on market has gone up to between 90 and 100 days in many cases. Okay. So add 90 to 100 days till now, plus 45 days for a loan. That puts you smack dab into summer. So don't worry about that. The main thing, the warning I have for sellers is get on the market as soon as possible. I believe people are gonna get on the market because they're hearing the same thing and think from other people, not just me. They're gonna get their house on the market sooner, and that's gonna cause the inventory to go up. So there's gonna be more competition, lower sale price for you. So if you had any, unless your home is currently listed, obviously, if you had any inkling that you were thinking about selling this year, do it now, and let's work out with a buyer when you get to stay until, or when you get to move out, right? So don't worry about the move out date. Worry about how much you'll lose if you wait. Okay. Hopefully this was helpful. I know it suits. Now buyers, look, find a seller that's been on the market a little while. Okay, and you're probably going to have a really good, and find someone who has to move, not who just kind of sort of wants to see if they can get this kind of thing, right? Find someone who has to move, and we can help with that as well, just because we ask great questions of the listing agent if it's not our own listing. Okay, if there's any questions you have, or you need a CMA or anything like that, just to figure out where you're at, in this new market, please call me. There's no cost to have me over and help you figure that out if you're thinking about selling in earnest, and I'll come do that for you, okay? And I'll actually shave, and I'll have a nice shirt on, and because it won't be casual Friday. But anyway, I just thought it was important to get this out before the weekend, and have a wonderful day. Let me know how I can help.